Hi guys, well today we're going to be taking a look at Logitech's new G303 D-Dallas Apex. So this is a new optical gaming mouse which actually has emerged after the great success of the G302. The G302 of course originally designed for MOBA gamers, but actually it turns out FPS gamers quite like the design, but unfortunately the sensor in the 302 isn't really geared up for such usage, and thus we have the G303. So the basis for the design has actually remained the same, using the same shape and dimensions. Just subtle but actually quite significant changes have been made with the inclusion of the Delta Zero optical gaming sensor, paving the way for up to 12,000 DPI. So the Apex gaming mouse can be purchased for £55 in the UK, and if you're over in the States it's going to be around $70. So with an upgraded sensor and some minor feature improvements, hopefully we've got a real winner in our hands today. So we're now going to begin our video today guys, and we hope you enjoy it. Right guys, well to begin with we'll do a quick unbox on this new mouse. As you can see, typical of Logitech in this nice packaging here, we have a depiction of the mouse itself in the centre there. We've got the model name of course, and then over on the side we have the technical specifications, that is multilingual, and then over on the reverse we have the fundamental features. Again, that's multilingual there, as you can see. We've got an image there of the mouse again, with the fundamental features pinpointed and a bit more detail up there. But we're going to go inside the box anyway, because that's really what we want to see. Just open this out. So aside from the actual mouse itself, we just get two items. Now the first is the warranty leaflet, which gives you the technical assistance if you need to contact Logitech for whatever reason. And then we haven't got any software with this provided, you know, like a software CD. So instead Logitech have provided this, and they give you the website address for the software. So that's perhaps a good idea. You do need an internet connection of course, but that does mean that you're going to get the very latest software and the firmware updates. So here we have the 303 D-Dallas Apex. Now this mouse is primarily designed for gamers who favour first-person shooters. You'll notice some key similarities to the 302 from Logitech because the actual physical dimensions and the shape are exactly the same. Now although Apex is ambidextrous, it's symmetrical, it's really designed for right-handed gamers due to the button placement. Apex uses a combination of plastic and rubber for its construction, and it feels nice and comfortable in the hand. It's also lightweight, weighing in at just 127 grams. Now the size and the shape of this mouse means that it tends to require more of a claw grip than anything else. You can see that the tail end there narrows and it tapers off. Apex is pretty simple in its design. There are just two buttons which are located where the thumb would typically sit, and those buttons are thin in their design and of course used for the navigation within Windows, and then in games you can obviously configure to whatever command or function you prefer. Now further back from these buttons we have this grid type pattern which when the mouse is connected to the PC will emit a colourful glow, and the colour here can be modified using the software which is provided. So there's up to 16.8 million colours available, and a bit later on I'll show you the software and give a bit of a demonstration of this. Each of the buttons on this mouse, by the way, sit above mechanical micro switches which Logitech promise will deliver greater accuracy. And Logitech has given the mandatory left and right buttons some special treatment. Both use a metal spring tensioning system to keep both of those buttons positioned with extreme precision. And then this in turn then reduces pre-travel and any backlash. And those buttons are also rated up to 20 million clicks. In the centre there we have the scrolling wheel, which is neither too loose nor too firm, so the rotation, the movement is straight down the middle with the resistance. And then behind that wheel we have the DPI button, which allows on-the-fly modification to the DPI sensitivity. So the lowest setting that we can use there is 200, and then the highest is up to a phenomenal 12,000. And then furthermore to this we've got the 50 individual increments which can be configured. You'll also notice that Logitech has given Apex a braided cable for extra durability. This is something which the 302 lacked, and this cable is 1.8 meters long. Flipping the mouse over onto its reverse, there are 6 Teflon pads to assist with glide on different surfaces, And in the very center there is a feature which is fundamental to Apex's makeup, the Delta Zero optical sensor. Now this sensor has been used on other Logitech products in the past, and it has proven to be exceptionally good. With it we have a maximum acceleration of 40G and then a maximum speed of approximately 300 IPS. And with the Logitech software we can of course fine tune the mouse to any surface pad which it is to be used on. Right guys, well I have the Logitech software installed and it's going to give you a quick demonstration, a quick run through as to what you can expect from this software suite. So if you've used Logitech products in the past, you'll be very familiar with this interface which I'm using right now. So we start off really with a depiction of the product itself. So if we click on the left button there, it gets us through to the button customization, but we can actually access this from the bottom if you prefer to click on one of these icons instead. So if I just select the back button there, click on edit, we've got these predefined button functions which we can select and apply. We've got the keystroke which we can perhaps select if that's your thing, or we can even record a macro and apply that to each individual button. Back to the page, we've got 3 different profiles which we can actually use. So perhaps for profile 1 I might have a certain set of commands, profile 2 have them totally different for a different game, and we can easily store those and switch between each profile as well. Now below that we've got these sensitivity options, and we've got up to 5 different levels that we can select. We've got here starting from 400 DPI all the way up to 7600 DPI, and if I just click on my DPI button there, you can see that this scrolls through these, so I'll just leave it on 3200 because that's generally the sensitivity that I have when I'm using my mouse inside Windows. For the report rate we've got up to 1000, so the lower settings there are really only for compatibility. Now on the next tab, this is the lighting configuration, so there's lots of different options here that we can choose. We can actually turn the logo on and off, we can turn the sides on and off, and we've also got these lighting effects. Now if I just select off, that just gives me a solid colour, as you can see. And then if I select colour cycle, that will rotate through a palette of different colours. And then if I go to breathing effect, you can see there that I've got green selected, and that will breathe. So the logo and the sides are both selected at the moment, but I can actually select to have just the sides breathing and have that green G logo to be solid. And we can also alter the brightness and also the rate at which that breathes, and also change the light, the sleep timer for that. On the next tab we have the surface tuning. Now for this we've got 2 selected options here already predefined by Logitech, so that's some of their own mouse pads that you can select, but we can actually add our own surface pad if perhaps we've got a different branded one, and the mouse will actually optimize to that particular surface. And on this last tab we've got this interesting little feature really. You can see here we've got key duration heat map, and we've also got key press heat map. Now this isn't perhaps an essential feature, but nevertheless it is very interesting. So if I just show you, really it gives you a bit of a report back on how often you click your button. So if I just click start, click my left mouse button, click my right mouse button quite a few times, and then to the navigator as well, the back button there, and then hit stop. Gives you a bit of an idea as to how often you click these individual buttons here. It tells you how many times, and it also gives you a date and a timestamp as well. Now if I was to select the duration, it actually tells me how many seconds I've clicked those. So it's quite interesting. Again, not essential, not important as such, but it is quite useful to sort of be given those type of stats. Now on the preference tab there, we've got more advanced settings. As you can see there, we've got some of the more advanced configuration options. You can update the firmware there if that perhaps is something that you want to do if you've got some issues or perhaps some bugs. It's always good to keep your firmware as up to date as possible. And we can also change the default profile to when it obviously boots into Windows. And that pretty much concludes the software, guys. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an overview as to what you can expect from this software, from this mouse, and there is lots of customization there, and it is quite an interesting little product. So there you have it, that's the new G303 from Logitech. I've been using this mouse now for a good couple of days, and I can confidently say that it's both very comfortable for long periods of time and is extremely accurate. And you know guys, a lot of the gaming mice that are on the market, they have good button placement, they feel great, and they feature all the great hardware under the hood, but they seem to fail in the design and the implementation of good software. And this kind of filters through into other markets too, you might well have noticed. You know, often the hardware isn't difficult to get hold of, but having the flair for design and the expertise to develop good software is lacking. But this isn't the case with Logitech's kit, you know, as we've seen today. So guys, that pretty much concludes our video today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks very much for taking the time out to watch it today. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you guys in the next video.